to the Louie Bellina Show. It is Monday. It is a celebratory, let's go kind of Monday, and it's presented by CC Electric. What does that mean? Celebratory, let's go. Months and months and months ago, the Aggie basketball season began. If you hang out on the Louie Bellina Show, hi, hello, and thank you. And Logan and I were talking, and all I wanted was to see Bucky take this team to the NCAA tournament. I kind of didn't care if they were in Dayton. I wanted to see something great. I wanted to see something borderline miracle. You might think I'm exaggerating. Hyperbole is a word that might pop up. And we'll get further into the concept, but inheriting one player who did not play, 0 scholarship players, deep late in the portal, doing it in the SEC, the number one power conference, and winning 11 games, getting them into the tournament, no player kind of over 6'7", is one of the greatest things, year one, if you want to quantify it, feel free, we've ever seen in Aggie athletics. And I just wanted to see it and experience it, and it came true yesterday. And I'm just fired up. I'm just like, could not be happier. You knew it was going to happen all weekend, all week, leading into Selection Sunday, but the reality was yesterday. And as an Aggie sports fan, yeah, I know I'm Louie Bellina Show, professional talk show host. I'm an Aggie sports fan. It's moments like this. They're rare. It's kind of hard to do. There's a reason why it's unbelievable. It's got a sub 1% chance of happening. These circumstances don't come around a lot. And when they do, are pretty miraculous, right? Just awesome. Today on the Louie Bellina Show, I'm inside the Charles Schwab studio. 11:35, we got to listen in. Bucky met with the media after the selection show, after the Aggies found out they're going to OKC, taking on St. Mary's, 6:35 Thursday. You'll hear that game on News Talk 1620, 94.5, WTAW online. Go check out radioagland.com. Then it's U of H in the second round. You want to talk about classic? Aggies, Cougars, NCAA tournament? Let's get ready to rumble. At 11:55, high school sports update, thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. At 12 o'clock, Mitch Light of The Athletic. He joins us on the D4 Land Services hotline. We do the college baseball roundup. And it was a wild opening weekend in the SEC alone. Forget across the country. Friday night had basically 4 walk-offs effectively. There were 2 sweeps. Oh, it's great stuff. We lost UCLA like no longer undefeated. Texas Longhorns lost. I mean, it was great stuff. Great weekend. Mitch Light of The Athletic, 12 o'clock. At 1:35, I got another Aggie basketball listen-in with Rashawn Agee and Rylan Griffin. They, too, after the selection Sunday. So I'm kind of fired up all around. Whole lot of Aggie basketball. Whole lot of Aggie baseball. That series in Norman was nothing like any series I've seen before. Whether it was the winds, that park, 2 dugouts dropping F-bombs like, they were going out of style. It was good stuff. At any time today, if you have a question, comment, or opinion, text 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. Texas Mobile One Lube Express, owned by Gabriel Garcia. Questions, comments, or opinions, text 979-693-1150. We'll begin. Come on, there's only one spot. Aggie basketball, Bucky ball, Oklahoma City, number 10 seed, South Region. They're taking on St. Mary's. It happened. They did it. It's real. Not a dream, not a hope. It's real. And again, when they beat LSU, it was done. They lost their first game to OU, got destroyed, SEC tournament. Didn't matter. They started the week on a 9 line, and when they lost to LSU, when they lost to Oklahoma in the SEC tournament, Lunardi still had them on the 9. Then tournament play, bubbles, teams moved. Shortly, kind of like a day later, A&M moved to the 10, and they stayed on the 10 the entire week. Every time I saw updated, it was updated a couple of times a day. It was a couple of times a day. Always 10, 10, 10. And they were the first team on the 10. Never slipped from that first spot. Okay, that's a lie. I think they went to the number 2 spot once. A&M was always easily, safely in the entire week. And they're the 10. South region, Oklahoma City, making it really easy for a maroon and white takeover. I think there's enough people that are in on Bucky ball, in on this team, that's kind of what I expect, actually, is a maroon and white takeover in OKC. I'd kind of be stunned. Now, U of H is there too, so we're going to have maroon and red, Aggies, Cougars. That's going to make it awesome fun. I don't know how many people have been to a regional. I found them to be amazingly, awesomely fun. You have all these different fan bases converging, and it creates the colors. It creates an atmosphere. It helps if you're a college basketball fan, mind you. And it's an environment that is so college, and it's so full of life and energy. I happen to be a big fan. And in the next round, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, when you bring in the 4 fan bases. And again, same concept. In college now, things are not like they used to. Basketball regionals still have that. They're awesome fun. And because the games follow each other, at least especially on the opening day, I mean, when there's one game and 2 teams, it's not the same true, but you have like all 4 fan bases converged upon the side at the same time. It is a phenomenal feel and energy, and if you're a college sports fan, feels good. There's something incredible about the whole concept. Back to Aggie hoops. So I say the dream. I don't think I'm over-exaggerating that. The idea of taking 14 brand new players who've never played with each other ever, in a first-year coach in the toughest basketball conference. Maybe it's the second toughest this year. Whatever you want to put it. You get the point. To the NCAA tournament. Yeah, not realistic. And Bucky pulled it off. How did Aggie Hoops do it? I think the concept is simple. They got a 0 in the loss column to quad 3 and 4. I think that's the number one thing. They didn't give the committee an excuse. They didn't put a poison arrow into their resume. Losing their quad 3 or 4 would have been a poison arrow. Got a couple of really nice wins. 2. Yeah, about 2. And then good wins. But they just didn't lose any bad games. No quad 3, no quad 4. No L's in that column. Did they get better as the season went on? No. They got better once SEC play began. And then it was simple. The quality of their opponent dictated almost how their games went. It was a team you could tell every player on the court gave you everything they had at all times. For the most part, the majority was at 80% of the players got better. Some didn't pan out. That's a pretty realistic rate. That's a great hit rate, actually. It was and again, is there anyone left arguing if Bucky ball is fun, is Bucky ball is good? I just feel like it's a brand of basketball that every fan can 1,000,000% get behind, right? Anyway, that's part of it too. It's not just the result, because there's been coaches here that can pull you the 20 dubs in NCAA tournament appearances, and the fan bases were not so much into it. But with Bucky himself, it's war. I'm coaching to win. Oh, man. Tell me you don't want to run through a paper mache wall, punch a puppy, and break a whiskey bottle over your head for him. He's that kind of coach. It's all the above with this team and that coach, yes? I mean, the answer is yes. If it's no for you, I can't help you. Just throwing it out there. The St. Mary's matchup. St. Mary's is a name extremely familiar to me, and I'll tell you why. I know this is like the Louie 5-cent scouting report. They're almost an every year NCAA tournament team. They're the only team that can beat Gonzaga kind of in their league. They're good. I'd say experienced type of team, traditionally. This year's team is not very different. So the in-depth, more scouting report, The Athletic, put out a 2-paragraph on every team. Luke Evangelist, of course, Texags, immediately within like 2 seconds, had some in-depth. And they're a really bad matchup for A&M. St. Mary's has 2 7-footers. What has been A&M's number one kryptonite Achilles heel? Height. St. Mary's has 2 7-footers. St. Mary's is in the top 15 in the country in average height. And again, this is Luke Evangelist going to work, right? And A&M is 0-2 versus top 15 teams in average height. St. Mary's is an elite rebounding team. These are kryptonites. Again, these are kiss of death things if you're looking at A&M and their weekends. Weakness. And I always say the NCAA tournament is about matchups, right? This is not what you wanted to see if you're an Aggie Hoops fan. There's more we have all week. Some of the other notes from A&M and what they were able to accomplish. This is only the second time in program history that A&M basketball has made 4 consecutive NCAA tournaments. Now, Bucky ball year 1, it doesn't matter. It's 4 consecutive. This one is one of the walk on water, turn Gatorade into wine kind of things. And A&M has made 12 of the last 20 NCAA tournaments. But there's a date, 2005. Prior to that, A&M had only made 6 total. Again, it's recent. Kind of talked about it. Where Aggie basketball is actually a good basketball program. Where NCAA tournament appearances are normal for Aggie basketball. A little Bucky McMillan year 1, how he became the 3rd first-year coach to reach 20 wins, A&M history. He's just the 2nd A&M basketball coach year 1 to win 11-plus conference games. He became the 4th coach ever, A&M history, to make the tournament in his first year. But I'd be willing to bet he's the first to ever have 14 brand new players and do anything I just said. That's just me if I was throwing a guess out into the universe. I don't know many coaches that take on the challenge of what Bucky had to just win a game. What do you think? I have a text message here going to the Texas Mobile and Loop Express inbox. Lou, if you had told me in October that the Aggies would be a 10 seed in the tournament, I'd have told you to put the cork back in the bottle. And I'd have told you that's fair. Again, the chance of this happening had to be single digit and had to be low single digit. Okay? And I don't think I'm getting carried away or exaggerating at all, to be honest with you. I think it had to be low single. It's Aggie basketball. The only player returning is non-scholarship and didn't play. Late in the portal. A system that, in year 1, sure, all legitimate. And Bucky didn't care. Everywhere he went, he won. And why would this be different? And it wasn't. An Aggie basketball NCAA tournament, baby. Thursday night, Oklahoma City, St. Mary's, 6:35 tip. Yes. And again, and I just wanted to be there for it. I was, you were, we were. Enjoy. Because there's other moments in Aggie history that make people suffer from a syndrome. This is the moment that can ease that pain. This is the moment where you can just remember for the rest of your life. When we come back, more news and notes and stats and Bucky ball and text messages. More of the Louie Bellina Show. Just getting started on a Monday. Presented by CC Electric. More of the Louie Bellina Show on the Zone.
Your home for Aggie baseball is the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
It is Chili Fest week here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. And what does that mean? Well, if you were listening there during our timeout, you can go to different locations across town and register to win a pair of register. There's a QR code in each of these businesses, and you just scan the QR code, and it's simple, easy, no fuss, no muss. Now, all the locations, and there's 7 locations you can go to. Zone1150.com, our website, right on the front page, and it says win or register for Chili Fest tickets. Click it, every location, click the link, and then where's the location? We have a map it on there so you can even get directions. And you that's the wrong word. You can go to because we're giving away a pair at every location. It gives you more chances to win. And you have till April 5th, by the way, if you want to go and stop at every location and register. Awesome fun. Zone1150.com. Go win your Chili Fest tickets. And again, we have partnered with all these incredible businesses that want to have a good time too. Twin Peaks, Uptown Cheapskate, the Domain at Northgate, Apex, the original Chop Shop, Gage Candy Bail Bonds, Willie's Grill and Ice House. Stop by. Zone1150.com. Check it out. But also, and like I said, it is, as I mentioned, it is Chili Fest time on the Louie Bellina Show. Every day this whole week, I'm giving away a pair of tickets. 12:30 to 1:30 today. 12:30 to 1:30 today is your chance to win a pair. And then I'll give away another pair on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The ticket booth open every day this week with tickets to Chili Fest, 2-day pass. And the ticket booth is thanks to Dixie Tire Company. So today, 12:30 to 1:30, you have been warned. Let us continue to Bucky ball celebration. Bucky ball, let us enjoy A&M Basketball NCAA Tournament. They did it. Yes, they really did. They really did do it. I'm just finding myself, I knew it was going to be announced Sunday, and even though it has been, I'm still fascinated, amazed, just absolute in awe of the accomplishment. Luke Evangelist again, statistical, Aggie hoops. The difference in these two teams, St. Mary's, top 10 defense in the country. A&M, top 10 offense. This is styles clash. St. Mary's, bottom 60 in the country in tempo. They're going to go methodical. 2 7-footers. They're going to play slow. A&M's top 30 in tempo. St. Mary's, bottom 40 in the country in depth. They're not going to go 10-9 deep. A&M is top 20 in the country in depth. These are two very different teams, and the most basic concept in the entire universe, the most straightforward concept. I mean, I'm going to give you in-depth analysis, stuff that you're going to sit there and it's going to haunt you the rest of the week. You're going to be like, man, Lou nailed it. The team that exerts its will is going to win. Whoa. Lou wrote that himself. Holy cow. Take that to the bank. The team that exerts its will. St. Mary's is a phenomenal rebounding team. You would expect with 2 7-footers. Don't turn the ball over. They're a phenomenal three-point shooting team, but they don't shoot the three, live or die. As you'd imagine with 2 7-footers, people pack the paint. You know, you run like 3 men in the paint and then you sink in. That's fine. That leaves everyone open from 3. They don't live or die by the 3. They don't take a ton of threes, but they hit them when they take them. So what are you going to do? Let them use their height advantage inside for the easy bucket, sink down in, leave open threes. That's the challenge. Of course, has St. Mary's faced P4 type teams, battle tested through SEC? Can they keep up with the pace? Will Bucky ball tempo be able to force St. Mary's out of their comfort zone? Styles, matchups. Who will exert their will? That obviously is the deciding factor. Now, The Athletic did a scouting report on every single team in the NCAA tournament. This is what they have for St. Mary's. The men from Moraga dropped only 5 total games, primarily due to their unforgiving defense. Over 31 games, they only gave up .947 points per possession, finished top 15 in effective field goal percentage defense. And again, they have 2 7-footers, Andrew McKeever, Henry Wessels, check. They're one of the best teams in the country on the glass. And let's see, over the regular season's final month, top 15 offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding percentage, top in the nation in free throw percentage, accurate from 3, shooting 38, round up, Lou, 39%. What's their weakness? They're not tested. The only team they faced outside of, Gonzaga, Santa Clara, which is their West Coast Conference matchups, was Vandy, which opening month, November, and they got destroyed by Vandy. But unchallenging schedule is their weakness. Texas A&M, you want to hear what the Athletic put down for A&M's scouting report? I know you do. The Aggies shoot well from deep and protect the basketball. Well, the shoot well from deep thing might be an outdated scouting report because over the last month, Strugglesville, that's what they don't do. And we know that's the key. Hey, let me ask you something. Do you want to have a little bit of fun? I'm going to throw open the Texas Mobile and Loop Express inbox. And how about you and I, the people that actually have watched like every game, 92.5% of the games, we know Bucky ball. We've seen most of it, all of it, the majority of it. How about you text me the Bucky ball scouting report? What are the key, you don't have to send me 10, no more than 3, please. What are the keys to a Bucky ball victory? Let's do our scouting report. And it's strengths and weaknesses. What is the Bucky ball scouting report? You text me. What's Aggie Hoop scouting report? What the Athletic went on to say, they finished 3rd in the SEC in 3-point percentage and turnover margin. And, quote, that's Bucky ball, coined after first-year coach Bucky McMillan in a nutshell. 3-point percentage, turnover margin. 3-point percentage, turnover margin. What else do they got? Weakness, simple, rather small team. And when they talk about the height, when they say rather small, they're still using the roster-listed heights and not the reality heights. So even when they say rather small, they have this team taller than they are by using the roster-listed heights and not the, they're not that tall, bro, heights. So it's kind of funny. Quote, A&M finished 13th in the SEC in rebounding margin and 14th in blocks. And this is the line, kind of made me chuckle. Quote, defense appears optional at times. There's a reason the Aggies scored 190 points in those last 2 games, because they needed to. Come on, that's a good line. True, but that's funny. 979-693 1150. You want to shoot over the scouting report for Aggie Hoops, strength, weakness, keys to victory, in general, not just St. Mary's. Because again, I think Bucky ball is simple. His platforms are rather straightforward. Hit the 3, got to create X number of turnovers. You look up, you got to have 4 players in double figures minimum. And it's not just any 4. Someone's got to be hitting from 3-point land, and then the whole offense opens up from there. If nobody's hitting from 3, they're just going to sit on AG. Oh. And then his night, man, he might get his points, but there's a difference when AG can go 7 of 10 or it's 8 of 20. I mean, it's very straightforward planks and platforms. And I know what I'm about to say is even more obvious, but sure, they press all the time, but pressing after a make or having to press after 10, 13 straight misses is 2 different types of defense too. That's not the same thing. So we've watched it. It's really, And in their biggest wins, when they beat Auburn down looking like they were going nowhere in a hurry, when they should have beat Tennessee, the different big wins against the toughest teams, their defense made plays. Defense fueled the big wins. Defense fueled runs. Defense fueled moments. It wasn't, we just hit 20 straight threes in a row. Defense fueled their best moments. So, in a play, no, you can't play defense and Bucky ball for 40 minutes, but when the defense fuels runs for them. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. Again, you give me the scouting report, strength, weakness, keys to victory, whatever you want to call them. It's not just for St. Mary's, but now that we have the whole season of data, and we've seen where the NCAA tournament team looks like for Bucky, what is Bucky ball? Now, coaches, players can't look ahead. A&M St. Mary's, and St. Mary's looks to be all A&M could handle with the 2 7-footers and just the fundamental style they're going to bring. But did anybody else notice South Regional, Oklahoma City, who the potential second-round matchup would be? Someone that A&M played some really, really classic matchups, including the NCAA tournament. 2 years ago? Houston? Because A&M and Houston have seen each other. They played regular season and postseason over the past couple of years, and the games have been rather... Because with Buzz, who rebounding defense and pray we can score 30 points, Sampson, defense, and the only thing holding him back from about 2 national championships is he's forgot a little bit about offense necessary too. So with those 2 coaches hooking up, you had some classics. Man, did they play some wars. So, and think about it. A&M, U of H, second round, Oklahoma City. That'd be a hell of a party on a Saturday, wouldn't it? By the way, I voted yes on that statement. Let's take a timeout. Let's come back. Bucky McMillan, he met with the media after the selection was announced. And man, I want to hear what he had to say. This is the Louie Bellina Show, Monday. This is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric on the Zone.
Make sure to get the podcast of TexAgs Live, the Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard Sports Talk Daily at zone1150.com and everywhere you get your podcasts.
The Louie Bellina Show, Monday. First hour together. 12 o'clock, Mitch Light of The Athletic joins us on the D4 Land Services hotline. We're going to talk NCAA brackets. Of course, the college baseball roundup and more. Mitch Light of The Athletic, 12 o'clock on the D4 Land Services hotline. Now, before that, 11:55:56, high school sports update thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. But right now, Bucky McMillan, a listen-in. After the selection show Sunday, he met with the media.
Frank called it. Coach Haith called us. I think we were going to get St. Mary's and Oak City. I'm like, really? All right. St. Mary's and Oak City. We've got good memories in Oak City, don't we, for the Aggies? Yeah. It's just not find ourselves down by 12 with about a minute left.
What do you know about St. Mary's? Any initial impressions?
They're good every year. They're tough. They're tough. They're well coached. They're smart. Got good guard play usually. They've got size. Dangerous team, like they all are, right? So, someone asked me, anybody that you don't want to play? It's like, yeah, I don't want to play any of them, but that's just the nature of the NCAA tournament. It's always going to be a tough matchup. So, you play well, you give yourself a chance. That's what it comes down to.
Would you rather be going, obviously, I don't want to ask this. How do you feel about where the team is going into the tournament off a game that obviously wasn't one of your best?
Yep.
Do you feel somewhat confident that will fuel them and the way that they'll react positively? Or, how do you feel about the mindset of the team?
The good thing is that we're able to practice. Like we had 2 practices yesterday, 1 today. And we haven't been able to really practice in a while just because we're trying to get through that gauntlet of SEC play. And so the positive, that since we did lose on Thursday, that we got to really practice hard, which I think is going to help us. We need to get back to that and being able to practice and clean some things up, which I thought we had some really good practice here.
What does it mean to you to be here in their first year here?
It means a lot. I mean, like, when we set out, like, I know a lot of people probably, when we didn't have a roster and we're piecing together, a lot of people didn't know, hey, could we get in there? And I thought this group could. I did from the start. I thought we could get in there. Mackenzie gets hurt, and we knew we'd have to really play well in SEC league play. But, you know, the SEC's the toughest league in the country, top to bottom. To finish tied for fourth in that league, it would have been a travesty if these guys didn't get the opportunity, because that means they brought it pretty much every night over the course of 18 games. And so it means a lot. I'm really happy for these players here, because a lot of them haven't got to experience it, and there's nothing like it.
You know, to that point, the uniqueness of it, having veterans that have been there like Ryland, how important is it to lean on guys like that in a moment like this?
I think it's important, because I think you got a decision to make. You can either go to be a part of the show, you know, and part of the circus, or you can go to play good basketball. And I think those that have been there can, you know, really affect others by telling them, like, look, we're going there. We want to be back here next weekend talking about the Sweet 16. Not that we just had a fun trip, right? I mean, the feeling when you play in the NCAA tournament or coaching, it's the same way when I was at Sanford and we did it. Like, we were a 13 seed playing Kansas, but when they tip that ball up, it hits you that you're playing for a national championship. Like, that's what makes NCAA tournament so great. I don't care if it's the 16 seed, the 13 seed like we were, 10, doesn't matter. You're playing for a national championship. And so many seeds have done things and made it deep into the tournament, got to the Final Four, and that's what makes the tournament so great.
How has this roster kind of grown and developed over the course of the year to get themselves to this point?
It's a true definition of a bunch of individuals coming together to form into a team. I mean, there's no greater example than that. We had more turnover than every other team in college basketball. We had no returning scholarship players. So we literally, I'd be interested to see those that got in that large bid, if anyone had dealt with that. Like, go look at the large bids. You know, most of the teams that were in our situation, they're not in the tournament right now. They may have had some glimpses, but they weren't able to sustain it because they didn't have enough invested in each other when things got tough to keep going. So for this group to make it, they literally had to take guys that never played with each other and become a true team to fight through the adversity you're going to see through the season and play good enough basketball to make it.
Bucky, you said that you expected this, and everybody knows the situation you walked into here, and you were picked 13th or 14th in the SEC. So what did you see and know about this team that nobody else did?
They were older. I saw that. They were good people. You're going to say, I know that sounds like cliche-ish. That sounds like the runner-up trophy a lot of times when people say that. But, like, I've just been a part of this long enough that if there's a baseline level of talent and they're good enough people, they're going to have an opportunity to get through the tough. And I think that's probably what separated our group more than a lot of teams that you know, maybe had a better non-league, maybe had a little more, you know, maybe had a couple more NBA players or something, is that we were able to win close games, and then when things didn't go great, we were able to snap back and keep improving. And that's what kind of separated it. You do that with good people that are mature enough with the baseline level of talent.
Was there ever times when you doubted it?
You know, I'm not going to say that I was doing jumping jacks for joy when Mackenzie got hurt. I mean, you know, that was tough. I wasn't concerned I really wasn't concerned when we lost to Oklahoma State as bad as we did early in the season, because I knew where we were, and I was upfront about that. But if you go back and you look at some of the tough losses early, or where we were early, and see where we are and where some of the other teams are not, it speaks a lot about our team, right? It's about where you can get to and how you can persevere to get to play for a national championship.
How do you kind of balance the excitement and staying focused at the same time?
I just think that if you have the right mindset with these players and these veterans, they're not 18 years old and 17 years old. This isn't about going to the county fair. Like, they're competitors, and they're great competitors, so they want to do well in it. And, you know, anything can happen in tournament basketball, but nothing's going to happen if you don't play well.
Well, you talking about adversity, you did mention, you know, your team's going to go through some adversity. You guys have some downfalls in SEC play. How are you guys going to overcome it, and what do you hope to see the guys do in March?
Yeah, I mean, you got to know that, like, you know, years ago when A&M was down by 12 in Oklahoma City, it was the greatest example of the adversity that you're going to see that they were able to overcome to get past that round and make it to the Sweet 16. You have that through the course of the season. You're dang sure going to have it through the course of a game. We've shown glimpses this season where things weren't great, where we've come back and made great runs. But it's just going to be that steady consistency in this tournament versus a team that is known to be really consistent. I mean, you know, St. Mary's is a very consistent, level-headed team. They've been to the tournament several times. They've made runs. They've had NBA players. So, you know, to give yourself a chance, you can't, you know, mentally let one play affect the next play.
And a lot of people bought into the ideology of Bucky. Well, I know I bought into it. So can you talk a little bit about what this means for the 12th man and the community here as well?
We wouldn't do it without, you know, the support here. And like when we got here, we had one player on the roster. So you go to meet with the team, there's one player. And then you look at Selection Sunday, and it's the whole community here. That speaks volumes about what this is about here. And this won't be our first NCAA tournament. You know, one day we'll get to a Final Four here. Hopefully it's in 2 weeks, but if it's not, one day we'll get there. And the most fun times is when everyone had ownership in a program, and everybody had to come together, and a community had to rally together to make it happen. And that's what we've done this season to make this happen, and we got to keep going.
You talk about the honesty you are, about the talent and the roster you have. So when you look at tournament play, you always said this is tournament sport. Do you think your team is built to have its best run at this time of year?
I think that we're a hard matchup for teams after the first game because there's a little prep time, right? When our guards are playing well, we're a very tough matchup. Guards have to play well in March. Like when you look at it, you look at who won the SEC this year, the tournament. We had a pretty good guard there, right? You look, when we played well, our guards have played really well. I think we got very capable guards and some that have been in this moment. And when they're playing well, I think we're capable of playing with anybody in the tournament.
They waited to the last region to announce you guys. What were the nerves like there in those last few seconds?
I mean, I knew we were in, like just watching it and knowing where it all stacked up. So it was just who we're going to play, who would be the 2 seed, where were we going. So I love that we're in Oak City because it's close by and there's a history to it. And then from there, it's just like I said, you know, people can say, well, I wish we had played this team, or I wish we'd played that team, or I wish this would have been the second round game if we got past the first one. But, I mean, you don't even know who you're going to play in the second round, honestly, in this tournament. You don't know who you're going to play in the third round. You only know you got one game. And there's just been so many deals where it's like, well, hey, if we get by the first one, we're going to play this team. And then if we get by that, we're going to play this team. You know, all these upsets is crazy. It's just your path. So it's a one-game season right now. And it's all about, you know, what we got to do to play our best basketball for St. Mary's.
When you go back to the last time you were in OKC, were you watching those games? Did you see the highlights? Do you remember kind of where you were when you learned about what happened in that game?
I was watching it live when it happened. And I texted Mitch Cole, and I actually found the text recently because he had an old phone. And I said, man, that is unbelievable. He said, crazy. And he said, and in that game, so we run our press is kind of based on a little bit of this guy that I played for in college. Even though we didn't press a lot, the way we line up, and we called it 140s, right, the press. And the press they ran to get back in that game was our 140 press. It's the same position, like it's kind of unique in how it's described. And I just remember Coach Cole sent me back at 140s, baby. You know, because the press got still, and got right back in the game.
What does it mean to be in OKC with the community aspect of a lot of Aggies getting to make the trip up there?
It's great. I mean, we need everybody there. I mean, this is going to be, you know, it is what it is. You don't get many chances to come rally around a group like this, and it's tournament play. There's nothing greater than NCAA tournament. So, well, we need it flooded. I know St. Mary's will bring some people, but last time I checked, the Aggies got the Aggies, man. We got to show up.
Since you were talking about that game in Oklahoma City, I asked about this. Billy Kennedy was out here for this thing tonight. Did you know? And you know, what do you think that says?
I love Coach Kennedy. I mean, he hangs out, comes by the office. And when I first got the job, we talked. I mean, I've known him a long time. And, I mean, I know Coach Cole had worked for him, known him for whenever that was, 10 years or whatnot. But, you know, I mean, if it wasn't for what Coach Kennedy and them did here, you know, he has affected our team to the positive because we've been able to recruit better because there's a history of doing something and getting to the Sweet 16 and having top 10 teams in the country. And one thing that you got to like about Coach Kennedy, I mean, he could go live wherever he wants, and he stays right here, part of this community.
If a player hasn't experienced the NCAA tournament before, do you think there's any explaining you can do what it's like, or do they just sort of have to figure it out for themselves?
The one thing I would say is you can't take 10 minutes, and I said this at the SEC tournament, like someone had asked me, what is it like? Because, hey, it's going to be difficult in the SEC tournament. And you saw that the teams that had a bye in the first game of the SEC tournament really struggled because the team that came the night before, even though they may have been, a little more fatigued, they kind of had that experience to come right in there and play. Well, the NCAA tournament's a level playing field with that. But you can't go into the deal and have a 10-minute, star look in your eye or the game's over. That's what happened to us versus Oklahoma. Now, I can't say that was necessarily the reason. We just didn't play well. We missed a lot of shots in the first 10 minutes. But you just can't have a 10-minute warm-up into this deal. What I would say is, look, court's the same court, free throw line, same free throw line. Find your spots you're supposed to be on defense. Run the lanes you're supposed to run on offense. Do what the heck we do. There's no difference between that court and the one we practice in every day. But we can't have a 10-minute warm-up where we're looking around like this is really cool and we start playing when we're down by 20.
Bucky, you talked last week about the SEC tournament, going to it kind of when you were a younger coach. The NCAA tournament, you got any early memories of going to games or maybe watching a crazy game when you were a kid or anything?
I mean, we all watch the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's the greatest show on earth. I mean, it is. It's why is it so great? Because anybody can win in tournament basketball. Anybody can win, and it's your path to make it happen. I mean, that's what you're playing for. I mean, if you think about it, we're 2 really good games away from being back here to talk about 16 teams left. And then from there, you're 2 really good games away from going to the Final Four. And, I mean, that's what makes it so unique, and it's all your path to get there. But, I mean, I don't know if I'd be coaching basketball if it wasn't for the NCAA tournament. I mean, it just everybody can remember the NCAA tournament. What do you remember the most? You probably remember all those runs from the teams that pulled upsets to make something magical happen. So we want to be that team at some point that makes that happen.
Bucky McMillan met with the media after the selection show Sunday, and you just heard everything he had to say. At 1:35 today here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. At 1:35, we're going to hear what Rashawn Agee and Rylan Griffin had to say, too. They met with the media after selection Sunday. I'll be right back. It's the Louie Bellina Show on the Zone. But I think you know that.
Unsportsmanlike. Listen in weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. They do free estimates. They have military and veteran discounts. That is CC Electric. Okay, coming up, still to come, here on the Louie Bellina Show, Monday. In 3 minutes, high school sports update thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. In 7 minutes, Mitch Light of The Athletic on the D4 Land Services Hotline. College baseball roundup. 1:35, a listen in Rashawn Agee, Rylan Griffin. I have said, if you were with us at the start, but maybe you were not, 12:35 to about 1:35, your chance to win a pair of tickets to Chili Fest, 2-day tickets. Every day this week, I'm giving away a pair of tickets to Chili Fest. And that is the ticket booth being open. Ticket booth, what is that, Lou? Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. The ticket booth is where you win tickets everywhere you want to be, like Chili Fest and just tickets everywhere you want to be, but also sometimes food, like those $50 gift cards to Rudy's and Cooper's, Old Time Pit Barbecue. Well, today and all week long, it's Chili Fest tickets. Listen in to win. It's all thanks to Dixie Tire Company. And all week, I'm going to be looking at simple concept. Who's picking who for what and What do you mean, Lou? You're rambling. I know. It's what I do well. We have Jay Billis, college basketball expert. Maybe he's the college basketball expert. He picked the entire field of 64 bracket like we all do, right? Except he actually explained why. I mean, it's not just a bracket. He picked every game and then gave you like 3 sentences. Even as he moved down the bracket to like the Elite Eight National Championship game. It's truly impressive, the work he had to do last night to pick this all the way through. According to Jay Billis, the University of Texas, the Longhorns, they're going to win their play-in game, first 4 game. I don't even really know what they call them. Since the beginning, they've never been of interest to me. I'll just say the Dayton game against the NC State Wolfpack. Dun, 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 dun. So the Longhorns will beat NC State, advance. And guess what? He has them beating BYU, the Cougars. Pretty epic, huh? Then Jay Billis has them beating number 3 seed Gonzaga. Jay Billis, very high on the Texas Longhorns. Do you think Jay Billis is a Longhorn lover, a Longhorn sympathizer? Do you think he used to work for the Longhorn Network? Do you think this is like a Longhorn conspiracy thing from ESPN/Jay Billis? They win the Dayton game, beating BYU, and then beating Gonzaga as the 3 seed. The Zags are playing without Braden Huff and a 17.8 points and 5.6 boards per game, which limits their offense and defense. Gonzaga is the better team, but consider taking a flight here. Texas is a sneaky 11 seed because of its size, Swain's ability to score, and Miller's coaching chops. So Texas into the Sweet 16. According to Jay Billis, St. Mary's beats Texas A&M. And that's just chalk. That's 7 seed beating the 10 seed. I haven't looked up Vegas lines yet. I'm an idiot. And his first sentence is the gospel. I think it's the first thing I said, at least in my head, maybe here on my own show. That would be nice if I did. But talk about a contrast in styles. A&M wants to get up and down and press. St. Mary's, methodical, slower pace. We'll take a look at what all the experts are going to tell us about brackets. I'll be right back with Mitch Light.